Words build bridges or burn them, even when they're typed. My friends, that one right there, let it settle. Because today, I'm not just talking about texting. I'm talking about the power you hold right there in your hands, how your fingers can either open the door to deep connection or quietly slam it shut without you even realizing it. See, attraction doesn't always end with a loud breakup or a dramatic scene. Sometimes it fades in the silent scroll, through unspoken misfires, misunderstood messages, and moments where the vibe just dies, and nobody even knows why. And here's the crazy part. Most of it, it's happening over text. Yep, that tiny glowing screen we stare at for hours. That's the new battlefield of modern love. So before we go any deeper, if you're ready for a real conversation, the kind that doesn't just hype you up but wakes you up, then go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and stay close. Because I put my soul into this. Not fluff, not gimmicks, just straight truth for the woman who knows her heart is worth being handled right. Now, hey ladies, imagine this. You're a flame, not a spark, not a flicker, a steady, glowing flame. You radiate, you give warmth. But texting, that's like trying to pass fire through glass. It dims it, distorts it, and if you're not careful, you'll be out there handing lighters to men who never even intended to light a fire with you in the first place. You ever been there? You text him something sweet, no reply for hours, or maybe you send a long message from the heart and get a LOL back. Worse yet, he was all in last week, but now it's dry, cold, like someone cut the cord but forgot to tell you. And you start thinking, was it something I said? Did I do too much? Should I pull back? My friend, you're not crazy. You're not clingy. You're not needy. You're human. You're trying to connect in a world that's convinced connection should be effortless, instant, and emoji approved. But the truth, connection is intentional. Attraction is energy. And when your energy isn't being felt, when it's being misread through text, that man isn't falling back because you're not enough. He's pulling away because the connection got confused. Not because you're not the prize, but because somewhere along the way, the energy got lost in translation. This video, it's your translation key. I'm going to walk you through 7 texting mistakes that silently make a man lose interest. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because no one ever taught you how powerful you really are when you lead with intention. This isn't about dumbing yourself down. It's about tuning yourself up so your presence is felt, even in silence. Because when a woman understands her energy, she doesn't chase, she attracts. When she gets her rhythm right, her text becomes a mirror, not a message. It reflects her power, not her pressure. And trust me, the right man, he feels that. So before we dive in, I want you to claim this shift right now. Type it in the comments. Say it with your chest and your soul. I text with power. I connect with presence. Go ahead. Drop it in there. Let the universe see your standard shifting. And if you're ready to make him feel your energy before he even reads your words, stay with me. We're just getting started. Number 1, texting like it's a relationship when it's not yet one. You're giving girlfriend energy to a man who hasn't even called you back. That one hit, didn't it? And if it did, it needed to. Because too many powerful women are out here pouring their finest wine into plastic cups. You're sending heart emojis, inside jokes, long midnight paragraphs filled with care and sweetness to a man who hasn't even earned access to your world yet. You're treating him like he's built a home in your heart, when all he's done is ring the doorbell and peek through the window. Let me paint the picture. You meet a man, the vibe is good, he says the right things, the chemistry's sparking, and before you even realize it, you've started texting him like you've known him for months. You're texting first, you're texting long, you're giving him your thoughts, your time, your energy, all while he's giving you fragments, a dry lol, a vague, I've just been busy, maybe even disappearing for days, only to come back with, hey stranger. And deep down something feels off, but you silence it. You tell yourself, maybe he's just not a phone guy. Maybe he's just shy. Maybe I need to show him I'm serious so he feels safe. Let me say this with love. You're not a rehab center for emotionally unavailable men. You're not the convince me prize in someone's lazy dating experience. You are a woman of value. You don't text to earn affection. You allow communication to flow from mutual curiosity and shared energy, not from hope dressed up as consistency. Because here's what they won't tell you. Men don't bond through words on a screen. They bond through experiences, through physical presence, through shared moments, through mystery. But when you're available all day, every day, when your name lights up his phone more than his own mother's, he doesn't see it as effort. He sees it as emotional overexposure. And guess what too much light does? It blinds, it removes contrast, it eliminates curiosity. Mystery isn't about playing games, it's about having a life that's full enough that texting isn't your primary outlet for connection. It's about creating emotional rhythm, not constant access. Because when a man has to wonder a little, he begins to lean in. When everything's given, there's nothing left to discover. And no, I'm not saying you need to act cold. I'm not saying hold back who you are. I'm saying don't hand the best parts of you to a man who's never even stepped on the field. You want to build a connection? Let it build. You want to be the woman he can't get off his mind? Don't give him the version of you that's waiting for his next text. Give him the version that's already full, already glowing, already living. Because your job is not to initiate emotional bonding with a man who hasn't earned your frequency. Your job is to stay rooted, magnetic, unshakable. So when the right man finds you, he doesn't just read your words. He feels your presence in every pause. He chases the space you hold. He values the access you give. Say it right now if you're done overgiving for breadcrumbs. Type it in the comments like you mean it. I don't overgive for breadcrumbs. Let it be a boundary, a prayer, a new standard. Because what's coming next? It's something most women never notice they're doing until the connection is gone and they're left replaying the whole thing. You need to hear it. Stay close. Number 2, trying to read his emotions through a screen. You're reading poetry into punctuation. My friends, this one right here is for the overthinkers, the deep feelers, the women who can read between the lines, but sometimes read a little too far between. You get a K and your heart skips. You see a 3-hour delay in response and suddenly the story in your mind starts writing itself. Is he mad? Did I say something wrong? Is he losing interest? You start spiraling, filling in blanks he never even wrote. But let me tell you a hard truth. When it comes to texting, energy doesn't travel well through Wi-Fi. You're trying to feel his vibe through a screen when he barely knows what he's feeling himself. And what makes it worse? You're filtering his text through your current mood. If you're feeling anxious, that short message hits like rejection. If you're in a soft space, the same message feels sweet. But none of that actually reflects him. It reflects you. It's like watching a movie with the volume off, trying to guess the emotion based on the actors' faces. You might guess right, but chances are you're missing the context, the soundtrack, the real meaning behind the scene. And I get it. You're trying to protect yourself. You want to see the signs early. You want to make sure you're not being played or led on or misread. But assuming a man's tone, mood, or intent through a few typed out words, that's like trying to understand someone's soul by their grocery list. It's just not deep enough, not reliable enough, and it will make you anxious every time. Let me ask you this. How many good connections have you damaged because you reacted to a message instead of asking a question? How many times did you pull back, get cold, or shut down? Not because he disrespected you, but because you imagined that he might be? You see, texting invites our imagination to take the wheel. And when fear is in the passenger seat, that ride never ends well. So what do we do instead? We ask. Simple, brave, clear. You don't have to interrogate. You don't need to send essays. But if something feels off, say so. If you need clarity, seek it. Because emotionally mature women don't play detective, they play real. They're not scared to speak. And if a man gets defensive when you kindly ask where he stands, that's a gift. That tells you what kind of man you're dealing with. But here's where the magic happens. When you stop assuming, you stop reacting to ghosts, you stop responding to a story that doesn't even exist, and suddenly you have room for truth, for grounded communication, for peace. You're not here to decode him, you're here to connect with him. And real connection isn't built on guesswork, it's built on presence, honesty, and a whole lot of clarity. So if you're done guessing, done overanalyzing, done writing emotional poetry over 3 dots on a screen, say it out loud and type it down below. I ask, I don't assume. Let that be your power. Let that be your practice. Because up next, we're diving into one of the biggest mistakes high-value women make, and it's something that feels right at first, but almost always backfires. You don't want to miss this. Stay with me. Number 3, initiating deep emotional conversations over text. Some things are too sacred for screens. My friends, let's be honest. Some of you are pouring your heart out through a glass window, hoping he hears your soul through the tap, tap, tap of your thumbs. You're trying to express deep emotion, resolve conflict, or confess something real through a platform designed for speed, not sincerity. And then you wonder why it didn't land, why he misunderstood you, why he didn't respond the way you needed. It's not because your feelings weren't valid. It's because you sent sacred words into a cold, lifeless interface. And expecting depth from that? It's like planting roses in concrete and hoping they'll bloom. Texting is for I'm on my way, for thinking of you, for let's meet at 7. But your heartbreak, your hopes, your fears, that deserves breath, that deserves tone, that deserves eye contact, silence, rhythm, the emotional instruments that only real-time presence can provide. Without those, even your clearest message can sound like an accusation. Your vulnerability might look like pressure, and your good intentions, they fall flat, lost in the void between read and reply. Now let's be real. Sometimes it feels safer to type it all out. You feel like you have more control. You can edit, reread, avoid the anxiety of real-time reaction. But what you're really doing is protecting yourself from being seen, fully, raw, and unfiltered. And while that might feel safer, it also keeps you disconnected. You're not actually expressing, you're just broadcasting. And deep emotional connection doesn't come from control, it comes from courage. So if something's weighing on your heart, if you need to say, that hurt me, or I'm not feeling seen, or I need more from this, don't send it in a bubble of blue text. Wait until you can speak, or write a letter, or meet in person. Because emotional boundaries are not about distance, they're about discernment, about knowing which parts of you deserve the sacred space of real presence, not digital placeholders. And if you're dealing with a man who won't have that kind of conversation, who avoids the call, dodges the meetup, dances around depth, then listen closely. That's not just a texting issue. That's a preview of your relationship's foundation. And I don't care how good the chemistry is, if the connection can't handle real conversations, it can't hold real love. So take your power back. Don't spill your depth into a screen that can't hold it. Say it with me and type it down below like a declaration. I speak depth where it can be felt. Number 4, taking too long to respond or punishing with silence. Silence isn't seductive when it's laced with punishment. Ladies, let's call it what it is. Sometimes the silence isn't sacred. Sometimes it's strategy, a calculated delay meant to trigger curiosity, teach a lesson, or regain the upper hand. You saw his text. You felt the urge to reply, but you stopped yourself, not because you were busy, not because you were grounded, but because you wanted him to feel something. You wanted to make him wait. You wanted to control the temperature of the connection. And for a moment, it might feel like power, but let me tell you the truth, it's not power, it's performance. There's a difference between living your life and using your life as a tactic. One is rooted in self-worth, the other in fear. Fear that if you respond too soon, he'll think you're desperate. Fear that if you show too much enthusiasm, he'll lose interest. So you play it cool, ice cold even. But the reality is, when silence becomes a weapon, connection becomes a casualty. Because men may enjoy the thrill of pursuit, but they're not drawn to confusion. They don't bond through guesswork. If every time he reaches out, he's met with silence disguised as dignity, he doesn't lean in. He retreats, not because he's weak or insecure, but because your energy isn't consistent enough to build anything real on. And deep down, you know that. You feel it when the connection fades, not because it wasn't strong, but because it wasn't nurtured. Now, I'm not saying text back in 30 seconds. I'm not saying drop everything just to reply. That's not healthy either. What I'm saying is this: check your intention. If you're genuinely unavailable, live your life, respond when it aligns. But if you're stalling on purpose to make him prove something, to train him, to shake him up, you've already lost alignment with your power. Authentic women don't play games. They communicate from self-worth, not emotional manipulation. Think about this. Would you want someone to withhold from you just to make a point? Would that make you feel seen, valued, respected? Probably not. So why treat a man that way, especially one who's showing up with genuine interest? Here's your real flex: consistency. A woman who doesn't need to manipulate timing to feel desired. A woman who chooses balance over drama. Who texts not to prove a point but to build connection. Because guess what? High value isn't about mystery, it's about maturity. So if you're ready to drop the power plays and operate from peace, say it with me and type it down in the comments. I respond with balance, I text with self-worth. That's the woman he remembers. That's the woman he trusts. That's the woman he keeps reaching for. Now stay close, because what's next is something that feels innocent, but is secretly one of the biggest reasons attraction dies before it even begins. Let's go deeper. Number 5, overusing text to replace presence. He doesn't miss you when you're always in his phone. Let that sit for a second, because what we're about to talk about, it's something most women don't even realize they're doing until the spark starts fading and he stops leaning in. And the worst part? You think you're doing everything right. You're showing up, you're keeping the vibe going, you're checking in, you're sending sweet texts, you're staying connected. But instead of pulling him closer, he starts drifting. You feel it. Less excitement, slower replies, less curiosity, and now you're left wondering, what changed? My friend, here's the truth. He didn't stop liking you. He just stopped feeling your absence. And without absence, there's no hunger, no space for curiosity, no time for desire to build. See, men don't connect through constant contact, they connect through contrast. He needs to feel your presence and then miss it. He needs moments where your energy is not instantly accessible. So when you do show up, it hits. But if you're always texting, always available, always present in his pocket, what's left for him to long for? It's like playing your favorite song on repeat. The first few times, it's magic. You can't get enough. But play it every day, 10 times a day, and eventually, the volume doesn't hit the same. That doesn't mean the song lost its beauty. It means the brain stopped registering it as special. It became background noise, familiar, predictable. You don't want to be background noise. You want to be the melody he hears in silence, the memory that flashes when he checks his phone and sees no message. You want to be the space that makes your presence feel like a gift, not a given. Now let me be clear. I'm not saying ghost him. I'm not saying withdraw or become cold. I'm saying texting should supplement your connection, not replace your presence. Use it to add flavor, not as the main course. A quick thinking of you, a well-timed compliment, a playful tease, then let the silence speak. Let him miss you. Let him crave the next moment you show up. That's how emotional magnetism is built, not in constant access, but in intentional rhythm. So here's your reminder and your affirmation. Speak it, type it below, claim it like a woman who knows her worth isn't in how often she texts, but in how powerfully she's remembered. My absence creates longing, my presence creates impact. And don't go anywhere, because the next point, it's something that looks like confidence, but quietly pushes him away. Let's keep building. Number 6, sending provocative pics too soon without emotional context. If the photo comes before the presence may never be valued. Now, I know this one might stir a few feelings, but stay with me, my friends, because this isn't about shame. This isn't about judgment. This is about energy, about understanding the power of your presence and how easily it can be reduced when the visual comes before the emotional foundation. You meet a man, things are fresh, the texts are flirty, you're vibing. He hints or straight up asks for a picture. Not just a casual selfie, but something more. Something with angles, maybe a little skin, maybe a little lingerie. And in that moment, you might feel flattered. You might feel desired. You might even feel powerful. But here's what you need to know. When you give too much too soon, without emotional context, you risk turning a connection into a transaction. You're not just sending pixels, you're sending energy. And if that energy isn't grounded in trust, timing, and emotional resonance, it's consumed like fast food, satisfying in the moment, but never remembered in the long term. And you, my friend, are not fast food. You are a whole experience, a slow burn, a presence that should be felt before it's ever visually consumed. There's nothing wrong with being sensual. There's nothing wrong with owning your beauty, your body, your feminine energy. But there's a world of difference between expressing that from confidence and offering it in hopes of being chosen. One is magnetic, the other is exhausting. One says, "This is who I am." The other says, "Please see me." And trust me, a man who's serious about you doesn't need you to prove your worth through pictures. He wants to feel your energy first. He wants to see you without the camera, your laughter, your light, your rhythm. That's what makes a photo meaningful. That's what makes it personal. That's what makes it more than content. It makes it connection. But when the visual becomes the currency before the bond is built, something subtle shifts. The mystery dissolves. The respect starts to blur. And even if he keeps texting, even if he still wants more, he's responding to the image, not the woman. That's not real intimacy, that's a performance loop. And so before you hit send, ask yourself, is this being shared from power or from hope? Do I want him to see me or do I need him to validate me? Let your answer guide your action. And if it doesn't feel deeply aligned, wait. Not as punishment, but as protection of your value, because the right man will never rush what he respects. And the woman who moves with intention, she's not just desired, she's cherished. Say it with me and type it boldly in the comments. I reveal with intention, not approval. Next up, we're unlocking the most dangerous trap high-value women fall into during texting. And it's so subtle, you won't even know you're doing it until it's too late. Let's go. Number 7, never showing desire or appreciation through text. He wants to be wanted, not worshipped, just seen. Let's get something straight, ladies. Men are not made of stone. They may walk like it, talk like it, carry the world on their shoulders like it, but inside, they're searching for one thing, to be emotionally chosen, not just tolerated, not just pursued, chosen. And yet so many women, especially the ones who know their worth, fall into a subtle trap, holding back. You don't want to seem too eager, too available, too invested, so you keep your compliments to yourself. You hold your "I miss you" close to the chest. You wait for him to text first. You wait for him to lead. And sure, he should pursue. But if he's the only one showing desire, sooner or later, he'll start wondering if he's wanted or just working for attention. See, men don't just need your beauty. They need your affirmation. Not praise from a pedestal, but recognition from a woman who sees him clearly. That thinking about you text in the middle of the day, it sticks. That quick, "you make me feel safe" after a deep convo, it lands. You may think he shrugs it off, but those little drops of warmth, they fill the emotional cup he rarely lets anyone see. Because here's what no one talks about. Men are starved for emotional affirmation. They're told to be strong, silent, stoic. They're taught that being needed is masculine, but being wanted, that's rare. And when it comes from a woman who moves from wholeness, not desperation, it's magnetic. Let's be real, this isn't about chasing. This isn't about constantly initiating. This is about balance. Feminine energy doesn't just receive, it responds, it reflects, it sees. And when a man feels seen, not for what he gives you, but for who he is, he doesn't just stay. He opens, he deepens, he commits. So if you're holding back that compliment because you don't want to lose the upper hand, ask yourself, is this a game or a connection? If you're afraid that expressing desire will make you look weak, ask yourself, am I giving from overflow or trying to earn love? Because there's a world of difference between expressing appreciation from fear and offering it from fullness. And the latter, that's when you become unforgettable. Say it with me. Type it like a queen who knows she's whole, whether he texts back or not. I express desire from wholeness, not need. Number 8, judging his interest only through texting style. The man who texts dry may speak life into you in person, My friends, this one is personal, because if you've ever caught yourself staring at your screen, analyzing the difference between hey and hey, wondering if the lack of exclamation points means he's lost interest, you're not alone. We've all been there. Reading tone through text like it's scripture. Letting LOL or the lack of a heart emoji determine whether he's into you. But here's the truth. No one's told you. Texting style is not the measure of a man's emotional depth. There are men out there, real, emotionally available, loyal, intentional men who are just not built for screens. They don't know how to flirt through text. They don't do voice notes. They won't triple text. But in person, they'll open doors, remember the little things you said weeks ago, stand next to you like a wall, and speak with presence that makes your whole nervous system soften. But if you judge him only by his texting rhythm, you'll never get to experience that side of him. You'll ghost the good man and keep chasing the emotionally unavailable one who knows how to use a GIF. Texting can't hold energy. It doesn't carry tone. It can't show effort in the same way as action. A man who sends a dry okay might be planning your favorite dinner in his mind. A guy who forgets to add emojis might be the one who looks you in the eyes when you speak and actually listens. And while yes, communication matters, what matters more is how he shows up in the real world. Not how clever he is with the thumbs, but how steady he is with the heart. So stop putting all your energy into decoding his digital tone. Start watching how he makes you feel when he's in the room. Does he remember things that matter to you? Does he make time for you, even when it's inconvenient? Does he check on you, care for you, show up off screen? That's what builds love, not how many emojis he sends before bed. And if you're holding back on giving someone a chance because his text game isn't hot, ask yourself, are you looking for romance or entertainment? Because the man who texts short might love long. The man who doesn't use any emoji might still protect your softness with everything he's got. Say it with me and drop it below in the comments if you're done judging love by phone signals. I watch energy, not emojis. That's how queens move. That's how grown women protect their peace. Now stay close, because in the final moment, I've got something for you. An ending that ties it all together and lifts you into the woman you were born to be. Let's wrap this right.